Have you maxed out your capacity? Have you reached your potential as a person? Well, the law of expansion says that growth actually increases your capacity. Growth increases your capacity. Think about that. Just like a balloon that's flat and flaccid in the beginning, the shape, how much it can hold, is only a guess. But then you begin to put air inside of it and it begins to take form. You begin to see its uniqueness, right? It's just like when you put growth in. When you deposit growth, the person begins to take on dimensions that you may not have even imagined. One of my attractions to growth and development was when I was working as an engineer, I could calculate the outcome for any improvement that I made. If I made the plant larger or sped up the line, I could calculate the output. But when you start depositing into people growth and then they add their piece to it, you really can't calculate anymore how big or how great you can be. And that's really what the law of expansion is saying. I think Nike captured it very well when they said there is no finish line. So once we reach a certain level, we need to be climbing for the next level in our own personal growth. The potential that exists within us is limitless, largely untapped. And when you think of the limits, we create them. What does that mean? I once read that and I had to listen twice, but I think of some examples that I've seen recently and it became crystal clear. My 89-year-old aunt was sharing with me, the headline was, "I didn't know I was old." She had been doing so many things around her house, quite independent, and she just thought that's how it was supposed to be. Then her doctor started asking her things like, can you get out of bed on your own? Can you bathe yourself? Can you, put on your own clothes, et cetera, and cook? And as he went through the list, she realized that most of these things she could do. But in fact, the doctor had expected someone her age would have limits or not be capable. Because she didn't know it was a limit, she exercised beyond it. Just as my 7-month-old grandbaby. The other day he jumped out of our arms, we trying to hold him on his lap, and he's like, no. So we had him on the floor and we were holding his hands and he was taking steps. And we were like, is a 7-month-old supposed to do that? Well, nobody told him the limits. So he was operating without limits and reaching higher levels. That's that on the edge, the older end of life and on the beginning end of life are examples of if you don't accept the limits, then the limits aren't real. So all of us, when we're thinking, how long will it take for us to get to that place? Remember that growth is not a destination. It's very much a journey. And when you're asking how long will it take to get there, it's really showing your immaturity. Just like kids. How many on a road trip? You ever been on a road trip with kids? 3 years old, 5 years old. What are they saying? How long till we get there? Are we there yet? So it's important to realize there is no there. Your there will continue to evolve just as your level of awareness evolves. So the more I grow, the more I become aware of what I don't know. So I'm still on that journey to grow and grow. In fact, experts say that we only use 10% of the potential that we have. So how do we increase and how do we expand? I challenge you that it's 2 dimensions and follow along with me. One axis is increasing your thinking capacity. How well can I think? How big can I think? How broadly can I think? The other dimension is to increase your ability to act. Okay? Acting is more about doing the new thing, not just repeating old things that you've done before, but doing things that you should or could do. It's about stopping doing things that don't bring results and start doing things that do bring results. Stop doing the important things occasionally and start doing them daily. We talk about the daily dozen as a discipline and consistency. So that's how you increase your capacity to act, is by doing more. And on the other dimension, and it's really neat to me, because it means sometimes people increase their ability to act, they get bigger there, but they still have a narrow ability to think. So yes, they've expanded, but have they fully explored the full realm? No, they've not. So in increasing your capacity to think, the first thing is do new things. Stop thinking about what I need to do. Start thinking about what works. So instead of just doing the same work, look at things and begin to analyze what's the better way to do this, right? So start doing what works. Also, stop looking at things as one door. You know, in those game shows when you have to choose a door. No, there are many doors you can choose. When we look at changing our careers and operating in our vocations and volunteering and growing gifts, there are many doors we can choose. So it's about expanding your thinking and expanding your action. That's how you get the maximum expansion. And I'll leave you with a quote from Pablo Picasso, who said, "I am always doing that which I cannot do in order to learn how to do it." The master of growth and mastering of expansion comes from being willing to take that journey and identify what you don't know and move it to the list of what you do know, and then keep on identifying what you don't know. Being purposeful on your journey, but knowing that there is no finish line. Operate without limits. Expand.